everyone! Today I'm going to be making a vegetarian pizza, and instead of using a traditional pizza dough, I'm going to try out using a phyllo dough today. So this will be my first time doing a pizza this way, so I cannot wait to see how it turns out. So in this recipe I also have some melted butter, I have a simple tomato sauce, I have a white cheese that has a cranberry and black cracked pepper inside. I also have a tomato that I've chopped up. I'm going to be using my homemade pesto sauce, which you can find the recipe on our channel. I have some nice brown mushrooms, fresh spinach, and I have some dried Parmesan cheese that I'm going to be using in this recipe. So the first step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start brushing on some of the melted butter in between the layers of the phyllo dough, and then I'm going to be putting a bit of Parmesan cheese on top of the butter. So let's get started. So let's start. We're going to use a few layers, and then I'm just going to be in between putting the butter, and then once I complete adding the butter, I'm going to be putting on some of the Parmesan cheese. The phyllo dough is quite great because I've used it before for spinach pies, some meat pies. It's very light, it's quick to cook, so if you don't have a lot of time or you've had a long day at work, it's nice to use because, again, it doesn't take long to make. As well, in the oven, it shouldn't take a long time to bake, as long as you don't put a lot of the ingredients on top. You want to make sure it's nice and light, and I'm sure it's quite healthy. It's not going to be like a thick bread where it weighs down on you and it's hard to burn off. So I am quite excited to use this phyllo dough, and I cannot wait to try it out once it's done. So we're going to continue this, and then once I'm done, I'm going to be going on to the next step with adding the ingredients that we have prepared. Now that I have completed putting the melted butter with the Parmesan cheese within the layers of my phyllo dough, I'm ready to start adding my ingredients that I have prepared. So I'm going to first start with some of my pesto. So I'm just going to brush it on gently. And then I'm going to be adding in some of my tomato sauce. Again, you want to make sure you don't overpower your phyllo dough with too much ingredients, because then it's going to come out too watery or too moist, and it might go through the dough itself. So because the dough is very flaky and thin, I'm just going to be doing a nice thin layer of the sauce with the pesto. Now that I have a nice thin layer of my sauce with some pesto sauce, I'm just going to be now adding in my vegetables that I have prepared. So we just have some fresh tomatoes, which we're going to spread out. We have our mushrooms and our spinach. So we're going to make sure there's a nice even balance with all of these ingredients that I just added on. I also want to note that I put the sauce all the way to the border of my pizza. I enjoy having a full layer of sauce. Some people prefer to have a crust at the end that is uncovered with no sauce. So it's, again, up to your preference how you like to eat your food. Alright, so there we go. Some nice fresh vegetables, nice evenly placed. And then now I'm just going to finish off the top with some cheese that I have here. Again, this cheese is a nice white cheese. It has some cranberries and some cracked black pepper. So we're just gonna take a piece of it and we're just gonna crumble it now. I'm gonna crumble it, making sure that the top layer of the vegetables has a nice even balance of the cheese. I've also used in the past a goat cheese. I find that allows the pizza to taste nice and fresh. You can also put some basil or oregano. I love spices, so anytime I get that chance to put them in my ingredients of a recipe, I take advantage of that opportunity. Today I have the pesto, so I did not put some of the basil spices that I have because it's already inside of that pesto. But as well with the cracked pepper within the cheese. So there we go. It's now ready to bake. It's a nice fresh style pizza. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like. I have the oven at 375. I preheated it before I started this recipe, and I'm going to be baking it, and once it's done I'll show you what it looks like. My vegetarian pizza with the phyllo dough has been baking in the oven for about a half hour, and there we go. It's all completed. It has a nice crisp finish on the dough, and it's full of flavor with the vegetables that we've put on, and then the nice cheese that we finished it off with. If you like this recipe and you want to see more like this, please subscribe to our channel. Hit that share, like, and that bell notification. And I will be putting the ingredients that went into this recipe in the description.